Principal Chrysalis ran a school known as Hive High. However, she wasn't good at it at all. On a scale from good principals to bad, she was worse. Principal Chrysalis treated her students like drones, pushing them all to think and act the same. Instead of being themselves, she instructed them to copy others and leech from their success. Despite the problems this caused, Principal Chrysalis was absolutely resolute in her methods, refusing to even consider another way. As for the students, they went along with it. This was all they ever knew. But that was all about to change. Starlight Glimmer was distraught. Her best friend had just moved away after being accepted into an advanced school. He had always been a gifted student, but now it was getting in the way of their friendship. Maybe his gift was for the worse. This got Starlight thinking that differences only push people apart. She would often daydream about a world where everyone was equal in every way, so when she heard about Hive High, she applied the first possible moment. Starlight was full of excitement for her new school, but she would soon find out that it was nothing like her daydreams. On her first day, where she expected a perfect utopia, she found emptiness. The students there were stifled, working so hard only for fleeting moments of success. They were never truly satisfied. Over the course of her orientation, Starlight realized that sameness is what was fundamentally hurting Hive High. Differences may cause problems too, but at least those are solvable. Hive High seemed hopeless. Starlight knew she just couldn't stay in this environment. But this is Starlight we're talking about. Instead of changing schools, she set her ambitions on changing the school. She started expressing herself in small ways throughout the day, showing off her individuality, using her own ideas in her studies instead of stealing from others. She would also talk with other students, planting seeds of change in their minds. Or at least trying. The students reviled her, shunning her from all their groups. Starlight was discouraged, but stubbornly she kept at it, hoping to make a difference. They continued to spurn her, though in secret they couldn't help but notice how much happier she was than the others. It was infectious, but they were too afraid to step out of line themselves, so the school culture remained unchanged. Starlight seemed doomed to be the odd one out. But just when she was beginning to think there was no hope, another student joined in with her. It was none other than the principal's son himself, Thorax. When he started expressing himself openly, he seemed like an entirely different person, more confident, happier, full of life. Though this brought the issue to a front. Principal Chrysalis soon found out what Starlight had started, and she was furious. She demanded that Starlight and Thorax step back in line and conform to the school's ways. But they stood their ground. Starlight argued that Hive High had it all wrong, and that all students could find the same happiness and success as her and Thorax if they simply share their unique perspectives instead of taking from others. Principal Chrysalis countered, arguing that this is the way Hive High has always done it, and that her students would be nothing without her methods. But now, with the fruits of both methods laid bare in front of them, the students could finally see the truth for themselves. They all joined with Starlight and Thorax, embracing what makes each of them unique. And Chrysalis, furious with her inability to control, resigned in protest. The search began for a new principal, one capable of taking the school in a new direction. Meanwhile, Chrysalis was bitter over what happened, blaming Starlight for taking her students away. But even she could see that her son was excelling in school, to heights that he never could have even approached before, and he was happier, for whatever that's worth. She had time to reflect, not having been turned to stone and all, and eventually realized she had been too obstinate in her old ways. She visited Hive High and saw how much it had changed for the better. Chrysalis formally apologized, and not only was her apology accepted, she was invited back on the school staff, where she remains to this day. You can find her leading Hive High with the same firm hand as before, but this time with a new focus. Or at least that's my idea on what the human world Chrysalis and her story might be like. But what do you think? Are there any elements that would have been different? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. If you want to support this channel financially, check out my perks at patreon.com/sawtoothwaves. And thank you so much to everyone who already has, especially my Alicorn tier patrons. The Nameless One, Equinox3141, Darth Sylar 12, Petrolhead02, Solar Scripture, Cyanax, Princess Starglow, and this video's Alicorn of the Week, Grim Eclipse. Congrats, and thanks again for everyone's support. Y'all help make this channel possible. I'm Sawtooth Waves, signing out until next Friday. Brohoo!